Hey, what's up you guys, it's Nasim here. Now before I start the video, I have one serious question. Is the Pixel 6a the best budget phone in 2022? And this is a question that really had me thinking because the Pixel 6a is a phone that I have no real complaints about. It pretty much does everything that you need and more if you want a phone in this price range. And not only will it do that, but it'll also leave you satisfied with the experience. It has a very powerful Tensor chip that is powerful enough to handle any app smoothly. It has a pretty good battery life that was able to last me for most of the day. It has a beautiful display that not only looks great when using it, but is also very comparable to its heavy hitting counterpart, the Pixel 7. And it has a really good software that'll keep you locked in because it's so easy to use. And even though there are many great things about the Pixel 6a, just like any other phone out there, it's not perfect and has pretty much given me some minor problems. There were some times where my phone could get laggy. I'm very disappointed that they didn't decide to keep the headphone jack just like last year's Pixel 5a. And the fingerprint sensor definitely needs some improvement in terms of speed. But believe it or not, I do believe that there are many people out there who will like the Pixel 6a, and hopefully this video will help you decide whether or not it's right for you. Now starting with the design, the Pixel 6a adopted the same exact look as the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, and it looks really good from the unique camera bar to the flat edges on the display, and I really appreciated how they used cheaper materials that'll result in better durability. The design along with the color coordination was really good, different and reliable, and in all honesty, I think that it was an amazing idea to implement this style on a very popular phone. Again, this phone looks the exact same as the Pixel 6 from the power button, volume rockers, all the way down to the speakers, USB-C port, and the back. But looking at its color, the version that I have is green, and this is one of my favorite colors that's been released. It has the plastic matte sides along with the glossy back that gives it that right amount of depth and results in a really good looking device. Now looking at the display, the Pixel 6a has a 6.1 inch OLED display that, just like the Pixel 5a, was pretty good. Whenever I was scrolling through my phone, it looked very nice, everything looked good, the responsiveness was very precise, and I had no complaints about the overall feel. I really liked how it felt great despite being considered a budget phone. Now the 6a has a 60Hz refresh rate. Scrolling through the OS and different apps felt as smooth as ever, and I was really happy that it was able to keep up after a couple months of use. Now the display can also drop to a lower refresh rate whenever it needs to preserve battery life, so if you're someone who wants extra battery life and doesn't really care about refresh rates, the 6a has that capability. Now the bezels are pretty small. Right here you can see that they're wrapped nicely around the screen and are much cleaner overall. The hole punch camera is also very small, so it won't bother you whenever you're using the 6a. Now when it comes to brightness, the 6a is at 876 nits, which is not that great, but when it comes to this price, it's nothing to complain about. Whenever I was using my phone outside, no matter how much the sun was shining, I would have some trouble seeing, but again, that's only in extreme cases. And now when it comes to the size of the 6a, I can't say whether or not you will love it or hate it, but I want to list some pros and cons that you can look out for. Now the pros of having a nicely sized screen is that the viewing experience is still really good. It's very easy to use compared to my Pixel 7 Pro, where I would struggle to reach the top of the screen, and it fits in my pocket much easier no matter the size of my pants. And now the only con is that it's not as big as the 7 Pro, so the viewing experience won't be as good, but 6.1 inches is not really small, so there aren't really any true cons. But again, I wanted to let you guys decide if the pros are worth the upgrade because everyone's needs are different. Now the responsiveness still holds up very well even after months of use, but something that I noticed is that my phone would get hot more often, and that's when the phone became a little bit more unresponsive. And this only happened when it was hot outside, even when I was in the shade. Now the resolution and viewing experience of the Pixel 6a's display is an amazing benefit when it comes to using it. It only had a 1080p resolution, but it doesn't look bad in person. I was able to see everything very clearly when watching videos. Playing games on it was as fun as ever, and I wanted to give you guys an idea of what it would look like when watching something and playing a game.
Well, Judge, I got beat in the post. Well, how did you get beat? Well, here's Exhibit A.
Now the Pixel 6a has a 4400 mAh battery, which isn't that great when compared to more expensive models in the Pixel series, and on a day-to-day basis, I would say that it was okay at best. And mind you, I'm the type of person that usually is on my phone all day doing things like writing scripts, planning B-roll, shooting videos, scrolling through social media, watching YouTube videos, and texting my family. And usually I'm getting over 4 to 5 hours of on-screen time a day, and I have to charge my phone twice a day. One time right before I go to bed, and also a full charge on my portable charger. And most of the time, I did use it to the max, so if you do get the Pixel 6a, you'll need some help with a portable charger or just keep your charger on you. And if I could give a quick estimate, I would say that I usually end the day with about 30% battery left, but again, I'm also being helped by my portable charger, so I can't really count that. And the last thing that I wanted to touch on when it came to the battery was the charging. Now my phone was able to charge from 0 to 100% in a little over an hour, and I think that that's a little bit too slow, but again, for the price, it's really not that bad. Now looking at software, the 6a supports Android 13, and just like on any other Android, you have that app drawer that holds and categorizes all your apps. You have the new wallpaper system that is a huge upgrade and feels much more smoother on this phone, and you have many more minor things that make the phone feel even sleeker, and I really felt the sleekness all the way through. Pixel phones are typically very smooth when it comes to optimizing software, so I'm not shocked at all when I say that this phone does a really good job when it comes to Android 13. Now the software was very smooth and worked very well. It felt just like the Pixel 7, and I feel like most of you guys will realize that in terms of software, it's really not different from other top tier models. Now I also decided to test out some games on the 6a. I played Asphalt 9, which is a game that can really test out the chip, and as you can see, it held up very well and I didn't get any lags while playing. Now the haptics weren't that great if I'm being honest. There were times where I would have my phone on vibrate, but will miss out on some messages because I couldn't hear it. So overall, I would say that they're an overall downgrade from last year. And now the final thing that I wanted to note is that the 6a will be getting 5 years worth of software upgrades. So when it comes to longevity, it has definitely got you covered. And now just like the Pixel 7, the 6a has some really loud speakers that were pretty good whenever I used them. I would usually use them in the house whenever watching videos on social media or YouTube, and I didn't have to turn it all the way up because of how loud they were on the lower tiers of volume. And I also tested out how they sounded when playing music, and if I'm being honest, they're loud, but the quality isn't that good when the volume gets all the way up. I also tested out the 6a as my alarm, and I had no problem waking up to it. I didn't have to set multiple alarms, and I didn't really have to worry too much about receiving important notifications whenever I turned on my ringer. And right here, I'm going to give you guys an idea of how the speakers sound.
Final minute 30, Bryant from 14 has 53! Unbelievable stuff tonight!
You're getting excited with this 50 business, all right?
Kobe's got the Lakers' last tip. Bryant for 3.
Now the Pixel 6a has a 12 megapixel main camera along with a 12 megapixel front and 12 megapixel ultra wide, and based on my usage over the past couple of months, I would say that the pictures look really good. Now starting with the zoom modes, the Pixel 6a has a couple, and of course the quality gets dumbed down a bit once you get closer, but I found all the zoom modes to be great, especially when compared to other smartphones. The shutter speed was very good from the start. I decided to test this out by shooting moving cars, and as you can see right here, the camera was able to capture most cars beautifully no matter how fast they were going, so I was pretty satisfied. Next up, I want to show you guys how the camera performed in different environments, and the first environment I will be starting with is daytime. Now looking at the outside photos, we can see that they have a really great shadow depth of field whenever I'm taking pictures of myself, along with a nice blur, and this scaled all the way up once I used that portrait mode, and I must say I was really impressed because again, this is considered a budget phone. I also took some photos of random street objects, the sky, different aspects of nature, and I can honestly say that the 6a held up very well in these environments, and I'm really impressed. Now in the tougher settings, I would pretty much say that everything looked good. The only complaint that I have is the shutter speed when the lighting isn't that great. Now taking a look at the inside photos, the 6a was able to capture everything very nice, and I found the pictures to be slightly more detailed than the 5a in terms of sharpness. Even when taking selfies, you can see how the camera handles already good lighting to produce an overall nicely taken photo. My skin tone looks the best in Pixel cameras period, and the sharpness was at its peak. And now when it comes to shooting video, the 6a is easily one of the best phones that you can buy in this price range. You have many different modes and frame rates to choose from, but I prefer to shoot my videos in 4K at 30 frames per second because not only does it look good, but the 30 frames makes it look smooth, but not as smooth as 60 frames would. The video stabilization was amazing. I usually shoot videos with my phone, so whenever I'm shooting my subject, I can use everything handheld, and the movements are very smooth, which was pretty impressive. And for fun, I decided to try out the stabilization to the max, and if I'm being honest, it's insanely good, so you'll be fine shooting videos with this phone. So all in all, I would definitely say that the Pixel 6a has an amazing video camera that'll give you some consistently good shots. So if you're someone who wants to shoot content or you just want a solid camera, the Pixel 6a has got you covered. And also, here's some extra videos that I was able to get. So now that I've told you guys everything that you need to know, the real question is the Pixel 6a a good phone to buy in 2022? Well, it is a good phone, but there are better options. And by better options, I mean the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. And I will say that they go on sale all the time. And there are many times where the price is similar to the regular Pixel 6, so it makes the 6a a tougher sale. The Pixel 6 has a better battery life, a better build quality, and it gives you the same exact experience, so you won't be missing out on much. But if you are someone who does prefer the Pixel 6a, it's definitely a phone that you'll be satisfied with. And it's also slightly cheaper than most Pixels, so that's an added benefit. But there it is, my review on the Pixel 6a. And also, if you guys have any additional questions for me, you can also let me know in the comment section down below. And if you guys made it to the end of this video, I would like to say thank you for sticking around, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It'll be very appreciated. And as far as social media, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.